You need 3 skills to start making money online. Without them, you keep jumping from method to method without ever achieving a real breakthrough. I was planning to record this video for the members of my mastermind only, but I think this information, even though it's simple, is so crucial that I decided to share it publicly so that all Wealthy Minds members, subscribers, and followers can benefit from it. Quick disclaimer. The results and examples mentioned in this video are not typical and shouldn't be considered guaranteed. Business outcomes can vary widely depending on your experience, effort, and execution. Use this information at your own discretion. So here's the thing. Most people trying to build an online business, especially for the first time, are obsessed with finding the right method. They think if they just find that one perfect strategy, it's going to produce amazing results and make them rich. And that's the wrong approach. So you know where I'm coming from. I've been in the online marketing space for over 15 years. I've built a very successful online business, but what I'm most proud of isn't the success itself, it's the longevity. Most internet businesses are fly by night. People make money for a few months, maybe a year or two, and then it's gone. They go right back to square one. And because I've always focused on the foundation of my business, it has endured through every change. AI, new platforms, new technology, and it remains very successful today. I also have a training and coaching side of my business, which has allowed me to work with many new online entrepreneurs over the years. And that experience taught me a lot about what makes people fail and what makes people succeed, even more than my own journey. And today, I want to share the 3 most important skills you absolutely need if you want any real shot at making money online. Without them, you're wasting your time and money on things that are doomed from day one. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll share a 4th element that will also make a significant difference in your results. First, understand this. The method matters, but it can only work once you have the right skills in place. Think of it like this. Imagine you had all the parts to build a car in your garage, every single component plus a step-by-step manual. But you have 0 background in mechanics. You've never done anything like this before. What are the odds you'd actually build that car? Close to 0. It's not because you didn't have the method or the resources. It's because you didn't have the skills to execute. It's the exact same thing with an online business. A method can tell you to create ads, but if you don't have the skill to create good ads, you're going to produce terrible ones and nothing will work. Skill number 1, learn how to sell to cold traffic. This means learning how to sell to complete strangers. Even if you're building a social media following and warming people up before you pitch them, your results will dramatically improve if you understand how to sell. I'm not talking about becoming a high-ticket closer on the phone. I'm talking about understanding the process of how you move someone from not knowing you to buying from you. The most basic framework for this is AIDA: attention, interest, desire, action. It's simple, but if you truly understand it, it changes everything. How do you grab attention? How do you build interest? How do you turn that interest into desire through future pacing, making people feel what life looks like after the solution? And how do you push them past their comfort zone to take action? Study the basics of copywriting, read a few books, go through a course. You don't need to become a master. As an entrepreneur, you can eventually hire specialists, but you need to understand the fundamentals at a working level. This isn't just about putting up an ad or a landing page. It's about knowing how to write a headline that grabs attention and triggers emotion. It's about understanding the psychological journey a customer goes through from seeing an ad that means nothing to them all the way to pulling out their credit card. When you understand this process, you're in control. When you don't, you might get a few things right by accident, but the things you get wrong will ruin everything. You need to understand how to educate your audience, increase their awareness, explain the mechanism behind your problem, and then present your solution. What works and why it will work even if other things haven't. And note, I'm not even listing things like avatar building, market research, or competitor analysis separately, because those all fall under this same umbrella. When you study the science of selling to cold traffic, you naturally learn all of that. Once you develop this skill, you'll be able to tap into any niche and generate sales. Skill number 2, learn how to read your numbers. Just because you can generate sales doesn't mean you're generating them profitably. This is where the numbers game comes in, and it's critical once you start buying media and driving paid traffic. Let's say you've created a great VSL because you know how to sell to cold traffic. So you start running it and you get some sales, but you're not profitable. Now what? You need to analyze your VSL retention, where you're losing viewers and why. You need to split test different elements, the lead, the close, the pitch, the mechanism. You need to figure out which ads are outperforming others and understand what to do with that information. You need to manage your key metrics, average order value, cost per acquisition, and use them to diagnose exactly what's happening in your campaign. Even the best copywriters and marketers in the world don't get things right out of the gate. They use data to optimize, but if you can't read your numbers, you can't optimize anything. This skill lets you look at a campaign and say, I spent $100, made $20 back, but I can see exactly where the problems are, and I know how to fix them. That's a completely different position than just looking at the final number and quitting. A tracking tool gives you data, but you're the one who turns that data into information. AI can help with this, and maybe in the future it will do even more, but right now you still need a trained media buyer's eye to understand what needs to improve and where. Skill number 3, learn how to scale. With the first 2 skills, you can start making $100, $200, $300 a day in profit. That's great, but it's nothing compared to the potential of a real online business. Scaling means learning how to take more risk, invest more money, manage your cash flow, and handle risk management, which is a crucial part of running bigger campaigns. You also need to understand the macro elements of your market. If there's an election, that will affect your numbers. If it's Super Bowl day, that will affect your numbers. If a celebrity says something relevant to your niche, that could represent a huge opportunity or a challenge that you need to address in your campaigns. Scaling requires a macro view of your market and the ability to work with bigger numbers confidently. When you develop these 3 skills, proven methods will finally start working for you because you be implementing them correctly. You create better ads and better pages. You choose better offers. You'll research your market properly. You validate or discard ideas before spending $1 on traffic. You leverage your competitors' data, the money they spend testing, and use it in your own campaigns. And most importantly, you won't just launch something and hope it works. You launch, read the data, identify the problems, and fix them. You lose money on day 1 and get excited about it because you see the potential and know exactly what to adjust. That's the difference between a trained entrepreneur and a beginner who puts in $150, makes $50 back, and quits. That decision process is too naive and too primitive to build a real business. Now, the 4th element I promised you, having a true business mentality. I know mindset has become a cliche that people tune out, but hear me out. Imagine you were starting a local brick and mortar business. You'd rent a space, invest in inventory, maybe borrow money from a bank. You'd hire people, set up accounting, build out your processes. And if the first day wasn't profitable, you wouldn't panic. If the first month was rough, you'd be concerned, but you'd consider it too early to give up. You'd keep improving, keep fixing, keep pushing because there's no easy way out. You've got employees, debt, a real commitment. Now compare that to an online business. It's so easy to quit. You just stop. Maybe you lose $500 on a course or tool and you walk away. No one even knows because quitting is so easy. People keep quitting over and over. So here's what you need to do. Treat your online business the same way you treat a physical one. Be careful with your analysis before you start. Look at the details. Make a deliberate decision and stick with it. Things will almost never work perfectly from day 1, but if you keep improving and keep pushing, you will eventually achieve your breakthrough. I hope this makes sense and I hope this video helps you. I truly believe these 3 skills plus this 4th element will make all the difference when you go to the trenches and start working on your next business. That's it. I'll see you in the next one.